to be a woman, you can identify as a woman. I don't know why there is such an issue.
Anyone can, right?
I don't see a problem with it.
Just literally put the hand up and say I'm a woman. Okay, why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean, it was.
I'm serious. I'm serious. If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I on International Women's Day say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd status,
I think
we're
that's
talking about quite a
with
strong
respect, I think that
thing.
you've already opened the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say I'm a woman. How many genders are there?
2.
There are 2 genders. Oh. Wow. So you don't believe in transgenders at all?
Well, I think there are.
Whoa, hang on. Whoa. There are 2 genders?
Well, it's taught in.
Well, you say, well, you've literally just launched this huge defense of transgenderism. Now you've eradicated it.
How the hell is into your old transgender?
Okay, this one's kind of seems to be getting passed around on Twitter quite a bit. And this, I believe, is a woman talking about her trans 2-year-old, if I'm not mistaken. Let's watch some of this.
Okay, so first of all, I will say that the process, the journey is ongoing and probably will be for potentially her entire life. But here's how it started. So she was designated, assigned, observed male at birth. And until about 18 months, didn't really, know too much, just kind of was raising 2 kids, working full time, not really paying attention to what was going on. And at around 18 months, she started showing signs of like really being interested in things that her sister had and had in her closet, and wanting to play dress up and wanting to put on lip gloss. And when she would see fingernails, she would want her fingernails painted too. And, we thought it was cute. No issue. We had no issue with, her wanting to do those kinds of things. And then around the age of 2, things started to progress at a quicker pace. And so each time that we would go to pick her up from preschool, she was fully outfitted in dresses and jewelry. And so I will say I was super stoked that we had such a wonderful childcare center that she was in, because she was allowed to, experiment with her gender and play dress up and do those kinds of things and have access to them. So when I would go to pick her up from preschool, like I said, she would be dripping in, just jewelry and clicky shoes and all kinds of stuff. And getting her to take that off to go home was usually a pretty gnarly struggle. And then around the age of 4, she started wanting to wear like leggings and headbands. She had this one headband she was completely attached to that she felt, I look back on it now and think to myself, gosh, I wonder when she put that headband on, she thought to herself, people see me for who I am. No one's going to misgender me now. And so it progressed. It just kept moving in that direction with more and more things that started showing more and more signs. She would say, when I wake up tomorrow, I'll be a girl. And we were kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. And my husband and I would be like, we gotta figure this thing out. And so kind of for that final test, my husband decided, you know what, we're going to figure this thing out. We're going to tap into this and see what happens. So he said, I'm going to coach a t-ball team and I want her to be on it. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. Well, that didn't go over so well. She not only hated t-ball, she hated the uniform, she hated the hat. We found everything in the trash multiple times.
Well, if he hated t-ball, then he must be a girl. There's no other explanation. Obviously, that was the final, right? That's when they knew. That was the final test, because there's no way a child could not like t-ball unless they're a girl. Turns out all my kids are girls, because none of my kids like t-ball. Even the kids that are playing t-ball don't like t-ball. That's why they're not interested in it. I didn't like t-ball either. But, okay, well, I guess I'm a woman then. This is a weird way to find out. I never thought I'd find out this way. But, that's not the worst thing in the world. That means I can't be criticized anymore. I have more victim points than I ever thought I did. I have so much contempt for these people. The parents are the worst. She is an evil, despicable woman. I will continue to say people like this should be in prison, life imprisonment, and I'm not satisfied with anything less than that. Life in a cage for this monstrous demon is what she is, because she wanted her child to be.
You don't want to answer any of the questions. Maybe we'll end with this, because we're talking about womanhood. So people can probably shout out the question I'm going to ask you right now.
Okay.
But you know that you're a woman.
Yes.
What is that?
So gender is a social thing. It only makes sense.
I don't want to hear that. What is a woman? What is a woman?
What is a woman?
The word woman, define in the dictionary, go.
A woman is somebody who is included and respected and seen and participates in society, recognized by other women. If you speak with women...
Circular definition.
That's mine, whatever.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Matt, I
wanted to ask you, when you had mentioned those screaming banshees as well as these sexually confused people, and they were lying, and I think they knew what they were doing. Do you intend to further create the bias that reduces people's ability to collaborate with others through your use of collective umbrella terms like us and opposition of them? And why do you continue to promote that division?
Well, because those are my pronouns, and I would ask you to affirm and respect my pronouns. there's no, I think perhaps you're just suggesting we fall silent and shut up, which is what the left has been telling us to do. It's why so many people desperately tried to shut down this speech tonight, because I think they're afraid of hearing very simple truths. I'm not going to shut up. I will not shut up. We will not shut up. They will not shut up. And that's the way it goes. Next question.
A man identifying as a woman made an inappropriate pass at a young girl today at the ladies' washroom at the mall. Her father was patiently waiting for her outside. And when he found out what happened, he went into the washroom and he punched the guy's teeth out. All of them. The cops were called and no charges were laid. Apparently, the young girl's father identified as the tooth fairy. Back to you, Aaron.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and only ladies and gentlemen it is and shall always be. I am an 18-year-old high school student and wanted to take this time to bring to your attention the current issue with biological men claiming they are women and in turn truly believing that they are entitled to use women's spaces. The question we must address is, why are we affirming the mental confusion of this boy and putting the safety of women in jeopardy by allowing mentally confused men to use the women's spaces?
You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy. I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that
dangerous.
trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you? Or are they
Absolutely.
also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that they're
to question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Can men get pregnant?
Mr. Chairman, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Define what a woman is. Relevance, point of order.
Thank you very much.
It is relevant because you are speaking on behalf of a bill that involves pregnant women, and I would like to get your take on that.
I'm speaking in opposition to a bill related to the domestic violence against people who are pregnant.
Not people, woman. So I would like you to explain what, in your definition, what a woman is.
There are people who identify as different genders who are capable of getting pregnant. That is my position on this. I am not going to feed more into the bigotry of that question.
It's a sad day in our nation. Just a few short years ago, we knew what a woman was. It's insane where we become, and until we continue to push back on the idiocy that's out there as to men getting pregnant, people that cannot define what a woman is, and we have to keep telling the truth that God created them male and female, and real men protect real women, period.
Male gametes. I mean, I could look it up on my phone. The definition, the administration of a drug to bring about a marked reduction in the body's production of androgens and especially testosterone.
Thanks for watching. Kindly like, share, comment and subscribe to be notified first when a new video is uploaded. See you next time on another video.